Yes, YouTube, we are back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to improve your testosterone levels naturally. Now, I have struggled with this issue personally. I have dedicated myself a lot of time, in the last 2 years, or I'd say 2-3 years, to improving my testosterone levels as much as physically possible without pinning anything, without taking anything outrageous, purely whole foods, supplementation, and natural habits. Now, I struggled with low testosterone when I was bulking, using all these processed foods, sweeteners, all this stuff that I was having when I was trying to bulk at a young age in my teens. Now, I think that's a common problem, and I discussed that in my previous video, so if you haven't watched that, go check that out from yesterday. But I believe that natural is the way forward. I preach that a lot. Now, I believe that helps guys, especially young guys who are struggling with this, is going down every single year, is testosterone levels. Ever since 1980, testosterone levels have been going down. Now, I believe people can help themselves with this just through their habits a lot of the time, what they're supplementing, how much they're sleeping. And I'm going to go through each one individualistically today. Now, the first one is sleep. Sleep is so underrated. If you're not getting at least 8 hours of sleep, you're going to be leaving testosterone on the table. Now, you have normal testosterone, which is like, the ranges have changed in the last few years, right? Which doesn't add up, to be honest with you. You should ideally be having, I'd say, over 600, 700 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in your body. And then free testosterone is your actual utilizable form of your testosterone in your body. They're completely different, but you want to have high in both, idealistically. But I'd prefer to have high free test because that's the kind my body can use. Now, some people just naturally have lower testosterone in general, but higher free testosterone. So it depends on the type of person you are. Like I say, individualistic. Now, sleep, as I was saying. Sleep is so important for muscle recovery, brain health. Pretty much every function in your body relies on sleep. Sleep is a much underrated thing in terms of human health. It's not talked about enough and is often discredited, and people are like, oh, well, I function on 3 hours sleep and yeah, I'm so cool. Doesn't work like that. I'm not saying you can't sacrifice sleep, whatever if you need to, but my point is, if you're going to bed at the same time every night and getting up at the same time every morning, that is going to be so beneficial for your circadian rhythm, especially if you're going to bed, say, like 10 p.m. and getting up at 6, 8 hours sleep, right? And you're in the timelines of sunlight and darkness as well, so your body's going to be naturally recuperated from the more sleep you've been having and at the right times. Now, those times may change. Some people are naturally night owls due to mutation. Some people may feel best going to bed at 2 a.m. and getting up at, say, 10 p.m, 11 p.m, 10 a.m, 11 a.m. Yeah, so it depends on the type of person you are. Find out what works best for you, and I believe optimizing your sleep will help you get there. Now, some days after you've trained really intensely, you've done so much work, you've had absolutely heck of a day, 10 hours sleep is not unnatural. 10 hours sleep is not unnatural for someone who's worked their ass off in the gym and worked their ass off in every sense of life. So don't punish yourself for having 10 hours sleep, especially if you're a young person or in your teens. I found that I've needed more sleep the more I go throughout my teens and how hard I've trained. So some hours I may get 9 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep a night if I'm lucky and have positioned myself correctly to do so. Now, second one is nutrition. Now, we're going to be focusing on micronutrients and a few other things when it comes to nutrition. First one is zinc. Zinc is where testosterone is literally derived from, to be honest with you. Zinc and cholesterol. Zinc is in red meat, most predominantly, oysters, eggs a bit, but I'd say red meat and oysters are the majority of zinc. Cholesterol, obviously, saturated fat is, well, that's the low density lipoprotein, which is quote unquote bad cholesterol, but you still need that, right? You should be having balanced amounts of these, right? Now, eggs have HDL, which is quote unquote good cholesterol. I believe you should be having both because I believe they're both beneficial in the creation of testosterone. Hence why red meat and eggs and the chopping boards and avocado and blueberries, those are add-ons but still good for testosterone, has become such a viral thing on TikTok. If you've seen those pages that literally just have these wooden cutting boards, is because it's very good for your health. Although it's a trend and people take the mickey out of it, it's actually very good for you. So yeah, red meat and eggs, I eat a lot of those. I eat a lot of red meat and eggs because I believe that if they're high quality, and I'm not having stupid amounts of processed sugar and cake and all these different things, then I'll be absolutely fine, because nobody died from grass-fed steak and pasture-raised eggs, I promise you. So those are very good for you. They have both types of cholesterol. They have endless nutrients in. Eggs are one of the most the most nutrient-dense food you can eat. Hence why people like Eddie Abu preach them so much. Steak is very rich in iron, zinc, L-carnitine. All these, they have so many unique nutrients and they're so bioavailable. So I'd recommend getting those two in your diet. Vitamin D, sun. You can get vitamin D from the sun, obviously. You can take it in supplementation form like I do. Been trying to increase my testosterone levels. I've been taking slightly higher dosage, but it will, again, depend on how much you weigh and who you are. So do your research on that. Vitamin D, you can also get through wild-caught salmon. You can get through sardines. You can get them from all types of fishes and eggs. Eggs literally have everything in them, bar vitamin C. You should be focusing on these throughout your diet as much as you can, because those are the things that are going to give you that edge and help boost your testosterone level as much as possible. Don't eliminate carbs from your diet, because that also decreases testosterone levels in naturals. A lot of people give advice, a lot of people give advice who are unnatural on increasing testosterone levels and whatever. Don't listen to them. You have got to play the part of a natural, because you don't have enhancement on your side, and you do not want to be taking enhancements, obviously, because the health detriments of it. But that's my opinion. Anyone can do whatever they want, but that's what I'd suggest. The carbs I would choose would be sweet potato, white rice, and fruits. I've said that in another video as well. Very good for you. Another thing I would say is supplementation. Now, I take magnesium glycinate because there's not enough magnesium as of nowadays in our food overall. I believe most people are deficient in it, which they are. 70% of Americans, or over 75% of Americans, are deficient in magnesium. So I take a magnesium supplement at night to help me get to sleep and also hit my magnesium levels. Same thing with my vitamin D. I don't believe we get enough sun in the UK. Summer now, luckily. But I don't believe we get enough sun in the UK. Therefore, I take a magnesium and vitamin D supplement separately. Boron is another one. Boron is proven. It's a trace mineral that increases your free testosterone. I take that every day. Boron is very good for increasing free testosterone. Has been proven in studies to do so. It's all natural. This is all natural stuff. Some of it's in supplementation form, though, obviously, as I've mentioned. Same thing with creatine. I take creatine monohydrate. That increases DHT, which is a brother or a sister, whatever you want to call it, of testosterone, which will therefore improve your gains, libido, hair production, that kind of thing. Another thing is high intensity training, compound lifts, not overdoing the volume, lifting heavy 3 to 4 times a week. That is going to boost your testosterone levels a lot, right? If you're doing that properly and you're doing it with activation, and it puts a lot of stress on your body to release those growth hormones, testosterone. And if you get enough recovery in between that as a natural, that is very good. That's why you couple it with sleep correctly and nutrition. So yeah, that's a brief touch on that. So your squats, your benches, your deadlifts, your rows, your push presses, your carries, all those type of things are going to increase your test levels like crazy. So go hard on those, go heavy, get a spotter, and do those correctly with the correct form at a high level with high stress. Now, high stress, I mean on your body. That's the next topic, stress. Don't stress too much as you can. You want to lower stress as much as possible. That's why magnesium glycinate is a very good supplement, because it can lower stress and cortisol and anxiety, which is very good. Stress is obviously very hard to avoid in day-to-day life, especially if you're working or everyone's got their stuff going on. So it's hard to avoid stress, but you can do it as best as possible by your diet, by your supplementation, by your sleep, and these things also all couple together as one. You can improve your testosterone levels by doing these things exponentially, can I just stress. These things are so helpful for you and will benefit you in ways you didn't even realize. Another thing that I've never actually practiced myself is meditation, which can lower stress. I think you should look elsewhere if you'd like to do that, because I'm not an expert on meditation, but I believe it is a proven method to help lower stress. So you can get involved with that as well. I may even try that as an improvement for myself, to be honest with you. I'm learning with you guys as we go along here. This is my personal story, but it's also a documentation of how much I'm learning, what's worked for me. And I'll put a picture up on the screen now, or at the start, about what I used to look like versus what I look like now, and you can see the difference in how I visually look different. My bones are more chiseled, my eyebrows are different, my muscles are different, I have lower fat percentage. It's just, it all adds up. It all adds up and all affects your composition and face and hormones. You literally feel and look like a different person, which you are, because you're not feeding your body the correct nutrients for it to thrive in the first place originally, which is what a lot of people are struggling with the amount of processed foods they're eating, vaping, pornography, all these different things that are adding up and just depleting you and making you feel driven. I was about to say drivenless, but that's not really a word. You are lacking drive, lacking discipline, and ultimately lacking testosterone. Another thing would be lowering your body fat percentage. Now, I do this through low intensity cardio and high intensity cardio. I don't really do much jogging. I have done it more here and there, but optimally for fat loss and increasing testosterone, walking and sprinting and high HIIT training, that kind of thing, high intensity interval training, do help the most. Which will most likely they will decrease your fat levels in your body. You will have a lower body fat percentage as a result of doing these things on a daily basis, such as steps, 10,000 steps, and maybe doing a HIIT session once or twice a week alongside your weight training. A HIIT session could be sprinting, boxing bag work, that kind of thing. I find that helps a lot for me. 10,000 steps a day, 10 to 15,000 steps a day. 15 is very aggressive. Well, I'd say quite aggressive if you're trying to lose fat quite quickly. But my point is, having a lower body fat percentage can help you increase your testosterone, and it has been proven to do so, because you convert more testosterone into estrogen when you have a higher body fat percentage. That's just proven. So that has helped me a lot personally. So I would definitely recommend that in increasing your testosterone levels. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed that, and I shall see you later.